And suddenly, another Matthew erupted. One would wonder, what is it with Miracle and Matthews? Another Matthew came her way. And this one again by recommendation. And amazingly, from the same church. If you do not understand my pain, you will not understand my prayer. And if you do not understand my prayer, you would never understand my praise. This is a story of a young woman who found out by experience that marriage could be both a bed of roses or a bed of thorns. Hmm. This is a tale of two Matthews and one miracle. Are you ready for it? Let's go right into it. You see, my miracle was this 28-year-old lady, beautiful, hardworking. She had a good job, well educated, and she was a lover of God. She was into service for God. She was a social person. People loved her. She was everywhere, you know. She was enjoying life. Life was beautiful until a man came calling. And when the man came calling, marriage came into the horizon. The man's name was Matthew. But there was something about Miracle. She reads a lot. She had read a lot of books on relationships and marriages and the whatnots. So she had a lot of head knowledge. On the other hand, Matthew didn't have much of this knowledge. All he knew was, the normal things he had seen with his parents, with his elder ones, and with people around him, how marriage should be. So these two came together. They were in the same church, they were serving together. So it seemed like, the right thing to do. And besides, he was recommended by the spiritual authorities over her at the time. And because, well, we believed then that no matter where anyone comes from, they could come together in marriage because we all belong to God. I mean, we all come from Zion. So he was from a different tribe from Miracle. So they both got together and started planning their marriage without doing the necessary checks, without asking the necessary questions. I mean, it was just like, we believe in the same God, we have the same man of God, so marriage could work for us. And then they began the journey of marriage. Would you believe that Miracle didn't know what Matthew thought about marriage? She had really not much idea on what his opinions are about the different things that had to do with marriage. And of course, she being a very vocal person was very vocal about what she wanted and when she wanted it and how she wanted it. But he, being a rather calm person, a quiet person, was not that vocal. So they felt okay, it could work between us, and then they got into the marriage covenant. Guess what? The day they got married, just after their wedding, as they went to find something to eat, Miracle had second thoughts. She had doubts in her heart. She wondered, did I do the right thing? Did I make the right decision? I mean, the wedding was pomp and pageantry. It was beautiful. It was a great occasion. There was so much glam, It was a beautiful wedding. And then after the wedding, Miracle thought to herself, did I do the right thing? Did I make the right decisions? She was afraid for no reason. She didn't know why, because everything seemed beautiful. She had just had the wedding of her dreams. She wanted a blue wedding gown, but she could only get white striped with blue. So it was just glorious. But then but then life began for them as a married couple. Exciting. The first few weeks was so much fun, and they felt like it was going to remain that way. But then living together started bringing up attitudes and characters that both never knew existed in each other because they didn't really know themselves, because they did not really date themselves. They did not really ask the necessary questions. They just assumed that because they go to the same church and they hear the same word of God, that was all they needed. But they had to be more. There had to be more knowledge for them to have perfect understanding of each other, but they did not have it. Hmm. Guess what? The issue started from little things to the big things. There was no understanding. And remember, Miracle was a 28-year-old who had been working for most of her life. She was independent and she didn't need any man to tell her how to handle her life or the things that had to do with her. Meanwhile, Matthew, on the other hand, was an independent man and a very traditional man who believed that the husband is supposed to have the final say in the marriage. Of course, there were clashes. Of course, there were troubles. Of course, there were drama. But it stayed between the both of them because, they were leaders in church. They would not let people know that they were having issues. They tried to sort it out as much as they could, and then trouble struck. Matthew lost his job, and Miracle became the sole provider. She wasn't complaining. She wasn't giving issues about it. She wasn't even rubbing it on his face. But being the very, very traditional man that he was, he couldn't take it. And more troubles erupted. Miracle stood her ground. She was not going to be relegated in her husband's house. Matthew stood his ground. He was the head of the home and he must be obeyed. Hmm. It went on and on and on until Matthew decided to go for mission school. He decided to become a pastor. And she supported him, even though they had an agreement before their marriage that she would never marry a pastor. She had dreaded that part of life. But then, what would she do? She gave him her support. They had a long distance marriage from then on, and things fell apart the more until eventually they got a divorce. It was a painful thing for Miracle because this was not at all what she envisaged her life to be. And if you ask the reasons why the divorce came to be, they had reasons they told people. The man said the woman doesn't wash his clothes. He said she was not submissive. He said she didn't make him her next of kin. And she could even understand how those things were supposed to be issues for them. But the truth is, whenever there is a breakdown in any marriage, there are things that the couples do not tell people outside. They rarely talk about it, except when they go for therapy. So the one they are telling you might not necessarily be the truth, the full truth of what is going on, right? So most times there are so many other things going on behind the curtain that you do not know about in marriage. Well, long and short of it, they got a divorce. The marriage ended. Miracle was devastated. She was heartbroken. How could her marriage end? With all her prayers, with all her singing for God. The truth was that with all she knew, she did not practice what she knew. You cannot wing it in marriage without knowledge on how to handle situations and circumstances. You try to wing it, your marriage will have issues, your marriage will have fractures. Then the marriage broke up and she became single again. And that was when she really went for knowledge and desired to practice what she learned, not just to know it, because a lot of people know it, but they do not practice it. Same thing like we know the word of God and we do not practice the word. We do not do the word that we know, but we know it. We can quote it. We know where it is, but we do not do the word. That was the same thing. Miracle decided to change her life by getting knowledge and actually practicing it. Hmm. The marriage that was consummated in 2011, by 2014, it was over. And she started a journey of singlehood all over again. But this time, it was singlehood with a purpose. She became a changed person, going from all the knowledge that she began to get, the right things, the right way to be. She even got to start knowing who she was. She got to start knowing what she should change about herself, what she should add to herself. And things began to change. And suddenly, another Matthew erupted. One would wonder, what is it with Miracle and Matthews? Another Matthew came her way. And this one again, by recommendation. And amazingly, from the same church. You would wonder, why does God have so much Matthews in plan for Miracle? Another Matthew came by recommendation, but this time she was ready. She knew the right questions to ask. She knew the right things to look out for, and she was ready. At the same time, she was humble. She became humble, you see, because the first Miracle knew a lot. She was intelligent, she was smart, and she felt she knew all that she needed to know. She didn't actually need a man to teach her, a man to lead her. She wasn't ready to be led by any man. But then this second miracle, this new miracle knew the position of a man in a woman's life and knew that when the Bible said the man is the head of the family, the Bible meant the man is the head of the family. And so her journey with this second Matthew started. It was a beautiful journey from day one. Everything was so smooth, everything fell in place. They talked on the phone without seeing each other. He proposed to her, and she agreed without ever seeing each other. And when they saw each other, it was to plan their marriage and to get married. Guess what? They've been married for 6 years, 6 good years, and it seems like the marriage just began. What changed? What was different? What made the difference? How is it that these are two men with the same name and with the same lady, yet different outcomes? The moral of this story is this: your marriage can be a bed of roses or a bed of thorns. It is dependent on you. What do you want? Do you want a home that will last or not? If you want a home that will last, then you would go for the right knowledge. And when you get the right knowledge, you will get the right patience, because everything is dependent on patience. It will take time for two people who were not born in the same home, who are just learning each other, to come together and become one, just like the Bible said. So it's all up to your decision. It's all up to the knowledge you have and you're ready to work. It's all up to both of you deciding that this is for all time, just like we say in our marriage vows. So, marriage can be a bed of roses or a bed of thorns. It's actually built by the two people in the marriage, not God and not Satan. It is the two people in the marriage that make the decision of what their marriage can actually be. Because believe me, marriage is beautiful. I tell you, it's beautiful. It's so much fun. You don't know the half of it. I'm enjoying it. I'm telling you now. It's been 6 years, 6 years of joy, 6 years of greatness, 6 years of understanding, 6 years of peace, 6 years of love, 6 years of wholeness and wellness, because this miracle has learned. And the Matthew that came was one that already learned too. So you see, this thing functions by knowledge and application of knowledge. It doesn't function by what you saw in your parents' house. It doesn't function by what you see around you. It functions by knowledge and you making up your mind to put the knowledge you get to work. This is the tale of the two Matthews and one miracle, where knowledge meets preparedness, where knowledge meets God actually, and they produce something beautiful. This is my story. It's been 6 years of marriage, and I can tell you one thing: the second Matthew is like the second and last Adam, because he is the last Matthew. Say happy anniversary to me, and please subscribe to Sacred Unions and Desires, our channel on YouTube where we talk about marriage and all that has to do with marriage. Subscribe today, because on Sunday we're going to be getting a fresh video that will change the trajectory of your marriage and your life. God bless you.